Hey guys, we're gonna have a little mukbang and talk while I eat. Half of the chicken breast, a few potatoes, and some asparagus. So, earlier we were talking about the imaginary line that you cross when you become addicted to drugs, and how that using drugs becomes a necessity instead of luxury. Hey, Annie. I want to share with you guys a story time, a story of the time I think that when I crossed the line from luxury, the luxury of getting high, the fun, the party, the excitement, into the necessity to live. The reason. So I'm going to explain to you when I think I started crossing that imaginary line, what happened, and how you might be able to tell that you're crossing that line if you haven't already decided that you have. So, back when I was probably about 21, I got a job working for Shoe Carnival. Well, no, let's go back a little bit. I was working for JCPenney, and I was working in the cosmetic department. And I had just started going to college. I'd signed up for 2-year college. It was like a community college, so I could make good money, right? So I signed up, and I started working at JCPenney. I loved working at JCPenney, you guys. I was working in the cosmetic department. So what I did was I did people's makeup, I did makeovers, I did like makeup for prom, all kinds of different stuff. And I was really good at it, right? One thing that I'm confident in saying that I'm good at is putting makeup on people. And I'm good at doing jobs where I serve others. Like, I'm really good at customer service. I just have a knack for it, right? I just have a knack for talking with people and making them feel beautiful and just making them feel loved and important. I love it. I mix some water. So I was slanging. I was working at JCPenney doing makeup. I was doing really good. I was making tips. I was making commission, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Well, at this time, I had just gotten into like really regularly smoking meth. I partied every weekend, and sometimes I would party through the week. I was still living with my parents, but I was like in that period where I was getting kicked out. Like, I was not showing up. I was staying out all night long. I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. I was coming home drunk and high all the time. I mean, I was just a mess. And my parents were like really getting to the point where they had enough. So they were kicking me out. I think I was like on the last straw with my mom and dad, and they were basically like, if you can't live by our rules and be home when we ask you to, then we're going to have to ask you to leave, right? So my last ditch effort was like to get into college and like start trying to do something with my life. Well, I was used. Well, baby,
I am done. I am done.
You don't want any more turkey?
I don't want the chicken.
Okay. You did good. So, hey, Michelle. So, I was smoking meth, and I was staying up all the time, you guys. Like, I was losing a bunch of weight, and I was getting to the point where I was spending my own money on drugs. So that was the first sign that I was I was crossing over that imaginary line. And this is what we're talking about, girls. We're talking about that line that you cross from abusing drugs, using them to have fun, using them to party, and crossing that line into addiction where you have to have them to function. And I'm kind of sharing with you guys when that happened for me. So one thing I never did when I was getting high was I never bought drugs. Like, I always got them for free.
What?
Nate, go upstairs with your dad. Go. Go upstairs with your dad. I just didn't. My addiction at this point, from the time I was 17 till the time I was 20, I could get drugs for free because I was a party girl. Well, one of the things that started happening was I started buying them. I started seeking them out myself. And so that was one big sign for me that I was like, okay, you know, like, I'm crossing over. But I'm looking back at it now, and when I was in the middle of it, I would have never admitted that I was a drug addict at 20. Like, I just didn't think I was. I didn't think I had a problem. I thought I could take it or leave it, right? I started using my own hard-earned money to buy drugs. Well, I had been working at JCPenney for about 2 years, and I had gotten a raise. Hey, Alicia. I had gotten a raise. I was doing really good, you guys. Well, my dope dealer came in, and he had asked me if I would trade him some products from the store for dope, right? And I was like, sure, come on in. And I would give him and his friends discounts, right? Well, I started getting really just like ballsy and started needing more drugs. So I started just giving him stuff from the store, right? Stealing. And I ended up losing that job for stealing. Well, I lost that job, and I got a job working at Shoe Carnival. Same situation. Only at Shoe Carnival, I was this assistant manager. So I was running shoes out of the back room. And you guys, when I tell you, like, I was making so many transactions, you guys. I was getting so much dope for free that I was high all day, every day on methamphetamine. All day, every day, right? Well, then I ended up saying, okay, I need to change jobs because I didn't want to work hard. And that was a job where I worked my ass off. So I got a job working at the revenue office. You guys know this story. I got a job working in the revenue office, and I started doing illegal shit there. I crossed the line, you guys, back when I was 20-something years old, when I started needing drugs to do my job, needing drugs to be around people, needing drugs to function for every day. But one of the ways I look back on it now, I'm like, when I started using my own money, that's when I knew I had a problem. Because I was willing to spend my hard-earned money on dope. And I used to not be able to I used to not do that. I used to not would have gotten high unless I could have got it for free, right? Girl, I stole all the time and traded to get drugs. Because after I started paying for them, I didn't want to have to pay for all that shit. It was expensive to stay high. Okay? So that was one of the lines that I crossed, you guys. So once I started, like, losing my jobs because I was stealing, you know, and I was trading drugs, right? And then once I started losing my jobs, I started using my body to get drugs for free. That was another line that I crossed. And listen, you guys, I want to be very clear. Okay? I said all these same things y'all are saying. I'll never steal. I'll never suck someone's dick for a hydrocodone. I'll never prostitute myself, right? Hey, Ian, I'll never buy drugs. I'll only get them for free, right? Because I was that girl. I always got drugs for free. I was pretty, you guys. I was outgoing. I was skinny. I was tan. I had big boobs. Like, I could get anything I wanted. But what happened was, though, I crossed that line. And it happens for everyone. It might not have happened for you yet, but if you keep going in active addiction, it will happen for you. I promise you that. It might not happen until you're 60 years old, but I promise you, if you keep on going, you will end up doing the same shit I ended up doing. Because it's the yets. It's the, oh, well, I haven't done that yet. No one is immune to the disease of addiction. If you have the disease of addiction, it might take you a longer time than it took me to go down through there, but it takes time, y'all. Right? It happens. And so I just want you guys to know, like, I said the same things. I was like, I'll never shoot up, right? I'll never use a needle. Well, when you get down and out low, and you get low down enough, and you need to get high, and you don't have any other way to get high, but somebody else who's shooting up with you, then you shoot up with them, right? And it gets worse. It doesn't get better. You don't go backwards. You don't rewind, right? And so, if that hasn't been you yet, and you haven't gotten to that point, thank God, right, that that's not you. Thank God that you haven't been down that road. Because if you continue going, you will be there. It just happens different times for every person, right? Never say never. You know? And I look back on the things that I said, you guys, and I'm like, why did I say I would never do that? You know what I mean? Why did I think that did I think I was too good? Did I think I was better than those people? I guess. But I wasn't, you know, I wasn't, because I ended up doing all those things I said I would never do, right? I knew it too, so by January I had to get help. I'm 58 years old. Yeah, so Julie, tell him, Julie, about what happened. Julie was an alcoholic, y'all. She had dabbled with drugs, but, you know, she was an alcoholic. And just this last year, she got high, she relapsed on heroin, right? And she never thought she would be a heroin addict. And that's something that happened at 58 years old for her, right? It's like circumstances, shit happens, y'all. And one of the things that I always try, like when I'm sharing my story with you guys, I don't think it's cool. I'm not proud of the fact that I did things for drugs, that I'm not proud of that shit. Right? But the reason I share that stuff with you guys is because drugs will take you there. It doesn't matter how much willpower you have. It doesn't matter how good of a family you come from. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you continue moving forward, you will be where I was at. And it just progresses forward and gets worse and worse and worse, you know? And so it might start out like just buying a couple hydros or buying a little of cocaine or a Xanax. But I'm telling you, I just got done watching a documentary and I shared it over to my community tab. I want you guys to go watch this guy's channel. It's Wade Patterson. He makes documentaries, right? And he made one about this couple who was living in the tunnels in Las Vegas. And the girl was an English major in college. And she, little black lady, real skinny little thing. And her husband live in the tunnels now. If you keep going in the right direction, you could be all those things that you listed out could happen. And that's why it's so important for us to see that we don't want to go there, right? You don't want to have hepatitis C like I do. You don't want to have been into prison like me. You don't want those things to happen to you. But that's where the disease of addiction will take you. It will take you down through there. It will take you to where you lose everything, right? Jails, institutions, and deaths. And it is cunning, it is baffling, it is powerful. That your disease will tell you that, yeah, you got this. It's fine, just take one little pill. It fucks with your mind, right? It tells you that you'll be okay and that you can have just one. Nicole was homeless, and I can listen to Nicole's story so that way I don't have to go be homeless, right?